first amendment is 413 that will require the Secretary of the Army to allocate modular arm range in Puerto Rico. Currently, Puerto Rico only has firearms range for the Department of Defense. And it's located in Santiago, hours away from some of the Army bases. And Camp Santiago range is also managed by the National Guard. I think you got a lot of noise in the room. And this creates numerous security conflicts and increases the mission readiness. And that's the reason also Puerto Rico's can and the capacity to support a modular small arms range. Not only is there sufficient land for doing that, but Puerto Rican also produce plenty of electricity, which has been an issue for other bases in the past. I just want to include that was included in version of the NDAA that the House saw it last year. The next amendment, 415, will prohibit Secretary of Defense from retiring the mechanized landing craft ships used by Puerto Rico's Army National Guard until such time as adequate replacement is provided. These ships delivered life-saving food, water, and other materials to Puerto Rico's continuous islands of Vieques and Culebra, as well as the U.S. Virgin Islands, following the aftermath of Hurricane Irma and Maria. But not only did they help following the hurricane, but these ships were also activated in 2019 and again in 2021 to support a lot of constituents. What will they do next time the Maritime Authority loses access to those islands, but still needs to deliver the goods? That's the reason we need to have this amendment included. Not will the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps be from their own missions to do what the National Guard can already accomplish? Those are the questions regarding these amendments. All we need to do is allow Puerto Rico's government to continue operating this essential platform until it is replaced, nothing more. If Congress does not act, the landing craft ships in Puerto Rico are going decommissioned. As today, there's no plan to replace ships in Puerto Rico. My amendment is limited, Mr. Chairman. I understand the reality that our force must modernize its equipment, and I understand the Mike boat dates back to Vietnam War. So I know there are other ships in development, like the maneuver support vessels, and I also know that under the current plan, Puerto Rico will have a critical gap in its ability to respond to natural disasters or emergency situations between the Mike boat's requirement and the provision of replacement ships. What is more, we have no information on when the return platform is going to be replaced by, so we cannot estimate what the full risk of this transition is, and we must do better in that. So this amendment will ensure that the National Guard in Puerto Rico can continue to save lives until our landing ship fleet is modernized. And this amendment, Mr. Chairman, was included in the House passed version last year as well. The next amendment is Amendment 416 that will require the Secretary of Defense to enter into an agreement with the National Academies for the purpose of investigating the health effects on the island of Vieques that may have been caused by toxic waste left by the Navy after 70 years of live fire training. This waste has included heavy metals like lead, cancer, causing fuel, and even depleted uranium. The waste has seeped into the water, land, and changed to the island of Vieques, as documented by numerous scientific studies and investigations by the Navy. Recent testimonies of the mayor of Vieques before the Natural Resources Committee states that many of the residents draw their water from local wells. The testimony from Dr. Garner during the same hearing revealed that these exposures will likely be present for decades or even centuries to come. While there are numerous studies from government agencies, including the Center for Disease Control and Government Accountability Office, this report will help answer remaining questions while building an existing body of federal and private research. And again, this amendment was included in the House passed version last year. The next amendment is 417 and will require the Defense Health Agency to conduct a health-related behavior survey among members from the armed forces. This survey was last conducted in 2018, but an updated survey is necessary to provide the DoD new information to understand the health-related behaviors and well-being of servicemen. Information such as access to mental health care is crucial to know, to identify resources and to continue to improve the services provided by to our servicemen members. The next amendment is Amendment 418, and this will give the military retirees with disabilities related to military sexual trauma equitable access to both their retirement pay and disability pay throughout an existing compensation fund. According to the Veteran Affairs Administration, more than 82,000 veterans suffer from PTSD by military sexual trauma, and the Department of Defense reported that women are more than 7 times as likely to experience MST as men. And members of the LGBT community are more than 6 times as likely to experience this trauma. Currently, there is no road for survivors to receive their disability and retirement pay. This amendment, Mr. Chairman, was included in the House passed version last year. My next amendment will be Amendment 419 that will require the Department of Defense to end its policy defining Puerto Rico and the other territories as overseas for the purpose of providing qualifying veterans and service members' families with health insurance. Every time the term state is defined in Chapter 55 of the Title Number 10, the chapter dealing with medical and dental care, the term state includes Puerto Rico. Even under the regulation for TRICARE 32 CFR Section 199.2, the executive branch also defines state as including Puerto Rico. Yet we don't provide American citizens who fought for the country equal access to care if they live in a territory. For example, I have a constituent named Frankie Perez. Frankie is a global war on terrorism veteran that was medically retired from the armed force due to his service-connected disability. Frankie wants to live in Puerto Rico. His family lives there. He was born there. After his service, he established the Post-Traumatic Arts Foundation to help others veterans to recover from their wounds. But Frankie can't receive TRICARE Prime or TRICARE Select, even though he lives near a military treatment facility. Instead, he's forced to accept TRICARE Select overseas. The Department of Defense has the authority to make this change already under their provisions, and they should use it to send a message to veterans living in Puerto Rico, that they're not less than a veteran living in the state. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I would like to end by expressing my unwavering support for the full amendments that I have co-introduced with my colleagues. Amendment 205, Representative Sablan, Amendments 522 and 554 from Representative Capco, Amendment 553 from Representative Lamb, Amendments 958, 968, and 1001 from Representative Lawrence, Amendment 1178 from Representative Plaskett, and Amendments 852 and 857 from Representative Walls. I want to say thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the members of the committee.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to now turn to Mr. Fleisch, Representative Fleisch.